Hey, thanks so much for joining me. My name is Sierra. If you have never been here, if you've never tapped with me before and you're brand new to this space, this community, welcome. Glad to have you. Make sure that you have water nearby. We're going to be doing a tapping session all on releasing the fear of failure. So this is so huge for us to shift through and to work through because we all have fears and we all have these fears of failing, right? And this fear of failure can be so damn paralyzing where we actually don't take any action to move forward, to do the things that we want to do, to really be the people that we even want to be. And too often we create this huge story around what will happen if we try something and if we fail. And we create this story and this scenario for ourselves before we even allow ourselves to try, right? So we're having this made up, this false story of us failing and all the things that are going to go wrong versus thinking in a positive way, right? Of what if everything actually went right for me? What if everything played out the way that I wanted it to? And you have the ability to shift how you're feeling towards the situation. And I want you to use this tapping as an advantage or a tool for you to kind of have in your back pocket to shift out of this place of having such deep fear around failing, but instead looking at failure in a totally different way. So most of us have been programmed to fear failure, right? A lot of the times we'll just give up right away to avoid failure, or we don't even attempt to try what it is that we want to do because we're so afraid of failing. But I want you to realize and have this mindset shift of through failure is how you actually succeed. When you fail, that's when you actually learn how to succeed, right? Because by trying and failing, you're literally refining your thoughts and your point to get closer to success. So the more times that you fail, the more times you're going to learn, you're going to grow, and then be able to shift into a place of success. So you are allowing yourself to gain clarity, but that's only if you don't give up. That's only if you keep trying, if you stay resilient, if you stay persistent. And it's so important for us to realize that failure is part of the process. Failure is part of success. It is inevitable. And it's going to help you so much in your growth. And again, to get clarity, which is so huge and literally transformational, life-changing, right? So whatever it is that you want to do, allow yourself to take a step back, right? And start to think of it in a different way. As you're shifting your mind, think of what success can actually come as a result of you failing. As a result of you trying, messing up maybe a few times and learning something from that as a result instead. So I want you to start to just have that mindset shift and think about it. How can you actually even achieve and get to success without even knowing what failure is, right? Through failure, again, is how you learn to succeed. So how can you get to success without even knowing how to get to success? Right? You have to go through these points of failure to learn what's going to work, what's not going to work, what's going to lead me to success, and what do I have to maybe redirect or course correct, and how I'm showing up and what actions I'm taking and what I can do better, how I can become stronger, how I can grow more. Failure is part of the process. Failure is not the opposite of success. That's another huge mindset shift for you to learn. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the successive moments that make up our life and the things that we're doing that lead ultimately to success. So again, it's the successive moments that ultimately lead up to our success. So failure is a part of success, right? It's just on the opposite end of the spectrum you can think of. So I like to say it in this way. If you were to think of a spectrum of hot and cold, and the same thing, failure and success, neither one is good and bad, right? There's no good or bad for hot and cold. There's no good and bad for failure and success. It's whatever you make it out to be is the meaning that it's going to have behind it. So whatever meaning you give to something is the meaning that it's going to hold on to for you. So if we're starting to release the idea and the meaning that failure is so bad and it's so scary and we can't step into that, we can't embarrass ourselves. If you start to release that meaning, failure is just, it is what it is. It's just failure, right? Versus it being this daunting thing that we're trying so hard to avoid, right? So instead of then fearing failure, let's shift into thinking it of being a blessed part of the process. Wow, what a shift, right? A blessed part of the process that's going to help you to get to success. It's going to help you get to succeed further, faster, stronger, right? So having those little mindset shifts are so, so huge for us to do. And as we come into tapping, this is when tapping really comes into play, right? So as we're tapping, we're releasing the negative emotional charge that we have around whatever it is that we're tapping on. So in this regard, with fear of failure, as we're shifting into that, it allows us to release this negative emotion that we have attached to failure. and this fear of failure. So it will no longer be stuck in a place of fear, and instead you can shift into a place of feeling very, very empowered. So instead we can start to trust into our dreams, we can start to trust into our visions and into our goals and take positive action moving towards them versus staying in a place of fear where we're shrinking ourselves and kind of staying away from actually getting to our goals and getting to where it is that we want to be. So with tapping, really, it's our goal to change the way that we react. It's to change the way that we react to disappointment, to the fear, to the anxiety, these negative emotions and feelings that we have that kind of come up. So it's not a matter of never feeling disappointed again, but it's a matter of how we can react to the disappointment and how we can move through it so that we can get to the other side. Right, so I want you to start to focus on something that you would like to do or that you would like to make happen in your future. Maybe you write this down, maybe you just have it in your head, maybe you type it out on a note on your phone or on your computer. And when you think about it, start to ask yourself, what story do I tell myself about what will happen if I try and I fail? What story do you start to tell yourself around that? And start to gain some clarity around that, because the more clarity that you have, the more we can really use our emotions as we tap through and start to release these things that we've been holding on to for so long in our subconscious, right? So next, I want you to then ask yourself, how has maybe procrastination been keeping you safe, or this fear of failing been keeping you safe? It's been keeping you from actually moving forward and taking action, right? Is it allowing you to avoid failure? Is it protecting you from maybe disappointment that you might feel if you fail? Is it protecting you from maybe a harsh way that you would treat yourself or that you would respond or react to yourself if you make a mistake? If you're someone who's really hard on yourself, right, you can start to unpack that there. So let's shift into it. Let's get into a full tapping session on releasing the fear of failure. So I want you to sit up nice and tall. If you have water, grab some water, take a sip of it. Let's take a deep cleansing breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top. And then open your mouth, let it go. We're gonna start right on the karate chop point, and you're just gonna tap and repeat after me. This fear that I have around creating change in my life or experiencing something new has been so paralyzing. I have had so much fear around the what ifs, and I'm afraid of failing, of not reaching my goals, of not pleasing other people, and not actually succeeding. Even though I'm scared to try, I honor how I feel, and I give myself permission to relax. Although fear has been keeping me from moving forward in my life, I am ready to create space for a new way of living. All of my failures are a part of my growth and steps to move forward and ways for me to learn new things. My failure allows me to get better, to become wiser and stronger. Failure is not even actually failure. That is just an illusion. My failure is my success. Failure is success. It's success in disguise. Because all of the little steps that I need to take to move forward that might encounter some failure are what's going to equal the big picture of me succeeding. And if that's the case, I am willing to risk. I'm willing to put myself out there, and I'm willing to just try and get past my fear and allow myself to just fall in love with the process. I am loving all of the gifts that failing brings to me, all of the lessons and the entire journey that comes along with it. So even though I've been scared to try, I honor how I feel. And I give myself grace and permission to just relax. Beautiful. Release your hands down. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top. And then open your mouth, release it out. See how you're feeling at this point. Every time I do karate chop point, my hands feel super tingly. I definitely start to feel some energy shifting. Some things are coming up and I feel really good. So hopefully you feel really good as well. And we are going to go through all of the points now, starting at the top of the head. So if you need to grab some water, grab a quick sip of water. Make sure you get well hydrated after we finish this tapping session. Of course, go back to it as often as you need to, right? Re-tap through all of this. It's going to take some time to clear it out of your subconscious mind. So keep doing the practices. If you're not feeling like there's no resistance here, then keep doing it. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep doing the work, right? Allow that resistance to clear. And as you feel lighter through it, then move on. Move on to the next tapping video and tap through the next thing that's going on. We're always going to have things that are coming up in our life. We're always going to have to work through these feelings, these negative emotions. And that's the point of tapping, right? To have a tool to work through it versus just being stuck where you're at, which is not what we want. The whole purpose of this is to move through it. So let's get through it. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel as well if you have not yet, and be sure to like and comment afterwards how you are feeling after doing this tapping. So let's start at the top of the head. You're just gonna repeat after me. I'm scared to try. What if I fail? What if I disappoint others? What if I disappoint myself? I can't try because I might fail. And that feels way too risky. Maybe it's better to just not try at all. It's easier for me to just stay where I am. But I'm not happy. And even though I'm not happy, I am comfortable. But I'm in a place where I'm ready. I'm ready to shift, and I want more. But at the same time, I am scared of the cost. I'm scared of the unknown. I'm scared of risking disappointment, of embarrassing myself, of letting down myself or other people if I fail. Part of me wants to stay where I am. And part of me is so ready to take a step forward. I have created a story in my mind that if things don't go as planned, I won't be able to face the disappointment. I have created a story in my mind that it's just safer to think about my dream than to actually take action on it. Because things may not go as planned. And I've been told that risks are no good. And this fear has left me stuck. So I acknowledge how I feel. And I am ready and open to looking at this in a new way. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It is part of it. By giving myself the freedom to try and the space to make mistakes and to take messy action, I will find my path. I'll allow myself to experiment and to let life unfold so beautifully for me. I know that I will gain clarity as I start to move forward, as I start to take action. Every trial and error is leading me to clarity on what does work. I don't have to have it all figured out, but I do have to start. Every single try is a success that leads to the outcomes that I so deeply desire. Every try is another step closer to the success that I dream of, the life that I dream of. I have been scared of taking action because it might not go as planned. But no great story has ever gone as planned. So I'm opening myself up to adventure, to be more free-spirited, to making this really, really fun, and having so much joy in the process. And if I face any disappointment, it becomes another part of my chapter, another part of my amazing story. And that is so powerful. I've been telling myself an old story that if I try and fail, that means that I'm not good enough, that I'm not worthy or deserving. I notice this irrational fear and belief, and I'm ready now to replace it with reassurance that no matter what the hell happens, I will find my way. I will figure it out, and I will be okay. This is my permission to start. This is my permission to move past my fear. This is my permission to just boldly act on my life and to go all in. I am ready to live my dreams and push past this fear and step into a brand new version of me. Good, release your hands down, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it at the top, and then open your mouth, let it go. How are you feeling after doing that tapping session? Awesome, awesome job. Change around any words if you need to, if you go back and replay that, right? Fill in the blank with what is relevant to you and what you need to just release and what you've been experiencing. Hopefully this was super helpful. Hopefully that you have shifted your energy and you feel like you're a totally different person. You're ready to take on the day. You are excited. I'm excited for you. And just to get over this fear of failure, because you know what? You deserve it. You deserve to be living your life in the way that you want to and helping people and impacting people in the way that you want to. And just get over the damn fear that has been keeping you small, that's been keeping you stuck, that's been holding you back, right? It's time to step out of that. It's time to step into bigness, into boldness, into really being you. You deserve that, and I'm so excited for you. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And I would so appreciate it if you could leave a comment below as to how you are feeling after doing that tapping session, or maybe any thoughts that kind of came up for you as we had talked about getting over the fear of failure. Sending you so much love. I will see you on the next video.